afternoon, and thank you for staying around for this last panel. It's a great one, I promise. For those of you on Zoom or here who are collecting CLEs, let me give you the opening code. For the last panel, the opening code is BHU876. Again, that's Bravo Hotel Uniform 876. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Joel Felsenstein. Joel Felsenstein is a London-born multi-instrumentalist, songwriter, and drummer. He is endorsed by Zildjian, Vic Firth, and Snareweight. As a neurodivergent creative, he is living with the rare metabolic disease maple syrup urine disease. He uses his experience to champion inclusion and challenge societal perceptions of difference. He is also the founder and CEO of Rockstar X, a platform that is dedicated to empowering neurodivergent and creative minds to thrive authentically in life and in work. Please join me in welcoming Joel Felsenstein.
Oh, it's there as well. Okay. Right, let's see if I can actually do this without getting distracted by my own pictures. If I asked you to tell me who you are, you could probably do it in a few sentences, or sometimes my friends could do it in a few choice words. You might start with your job, your family, where you're from, what you're proud of, and what you're working on. Now, let me ask a slightly different question. If I took away your words, how would you tell me who you are? For me, the answer has always been music, hence the picture on the screen. Before I even understood social rules, I understood rhythm. Before I could explain feelings, I could play them. And before I could sit comfortably in a room full of people, or in this case, talk in a room full of people, I could sit behind a drum set. And suddenly everything made sense. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. If I can find the place again. Not just music as entertainment, but music as communication, music as access, and music as a kind of bridge to a lot of neurodivergent people that a lot of neurodivergent people have been building their whole lives, even when nobody told us we were allowed to. They say it has a different feel. If I sing, I won't, I can't. In a way that is raw or unusual or intense, nobody says, can you be more normal? They say, that's your voice. Music has always made room for the things the world tries to sand down. So the question now becomes, if music can do that so naturally, why can't we? Why is it so many schools, workplaces, and systems, difference is treated like a problem to solve instead of a reality to design for? I am neurodivergent. The guy on the screen in the soccer shirt is also neurodivergent. I'm also someone who lives with a rare metabolic condition that requires strict management daily. That part matters because it taught me very early on that the world is full of invisible rules. And sometimes those rules decide whether you're safe. So I grew up doing what a lot of people do when they feel unsafe. I learned how to look fine. I learned how to say the right thing. I learned how to perform the version of myself that caused the least friction. And if you're neurodivergent, you probably know exactly what I mean. There is a difference between being present and being accepted. There is also a difference between being included and being understood. And there is a difference between you can be here and you can be you. People call it masking. I call it translation. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like walking through life, constantly translating your natural self into a language you were never taught. For an audience that often doesn't realize you're doing it. And translation is exhausting. It drains your battery and it dulls your creativity. It makes you question your own instincts. And it can make you feel like you're always slightly late to the conversation, even when you are the one doing the work. Now, here's the part that changed everything for me. When I sat down at the drums, the translation stopped. Not because the world suddenly became easy, but because I wasn't speaking with words anymore. I was speaking in rhythm. And rhythm does not ask you to be polite. Rhythm does not ask you to make eye contact. Rhythm does not ask you to soften your intensity. Rhythm says, show me what's true. When people talk about neurodiversity, they often go straight to the challenges and stereotypes, such as sensory overload, social differences, burnout, anxiety, executive function, and communication gaps, all real and all important. But there is another side that gets completely ignored. The pattern recognition, the deep focus, the honesty and intensity, the ability to notice what other people miss, the creativity that doesn't come from trying to be interesting, but comes from seeing the world differently. In music, those traits are not a problem. They are an advantage. And here's where it gets more interesting. This is not only just for musicians. This is for engineers, designers, lawyers, doctors, teachers, entrepreneurs, students, parents, and everyone. Neurodivergent people bring value everywhere, but we are often forced to deliver that value through systems that are built against us. So what does music teach us about building better systems? A few things. First, music assumes difference. In a band, You don't ask the drummer to play like the guitarist. You don't ask the singer to think like a bassist. You build strength. You build around strengths. You create space for each role. You agree on structure. Then you let people bring their own style. Now imagine if school works like that. If work worked like that. And imagine if instead of saying, here's the one way to succeed, we all said, here's the goal, let's figure out how you succeed. Second, music is built on listening, not the kind of listening that where you wait to speak, for your turn to speak. Real listening. Good musicians don't just play. They adjust, they respond, they make other people sound better, and that is inclusion, not a slogan, a skill. Third, music gives you feedback without shame. If you come in early, the groove tells you, and so does the band. If you are out of tune, the chords tell you, and so did the band. It's not personal, it's information. You fix it and move on. I want to share a moment that still sticks with me to this day. For me, it was the first time someone described me as too much. Not angry, not rude, not wrong, just too much. Too enthusiastic, too intense, and too direct, and too passionate. And I remember thinking, if this is too much, what's the acceptable amount of me? Don't answer that. Because if you keep shrinking, you don't disappear all at once. You disappear slowly. You get quieter. You share less. You take fewer risks. And the world loses something it never knew it had. But music refused to let me shrink. Even as I picked up the sticks, every time I picked up the sticks, the real me came back online. And I realized something. The problem wasn't that I was too much. The problem was the environment had a very small definition of the word normal. And that's a subject for another time. Music gave me proof that there was nothing wrong with my intensity. It just needed a place to land. So I want to ask you something. When a person struggles in your classroom, your workspace, your team, your family, what do you assume? Do you assume they don't care? Do you assume they're difficult? Or do you assume they are not trying? Or do you ask, is this environment asking them to do something that costs them 10 times more than it costs everyone else? Because that question changes everything. And I'm almost on the last page. Now, I want to bring you back to the title, which I actually didn't read out at the beginning, so I'm going to read it out now. Is music and neurodiversity the power of a universal language? I think the answer is yes. Not because music is magical. Well, yes it is, but it's not the reason. But because music is honest. Music tells the truth about difference, about timing, about sensitivity, about tension, and it reminds us of something we forget in every single day of our lives. Difference doesn't mean wrong. Sometimes difference is the thing that makes the whole piece work. I want to leave you with something a little later on because we have another speaker. More than just words, and more than words will ever describe. And I want to show you my world. Because sometimes words can only take us so far. Sometimes something has to be felt to be understood. This is for anyone who has ever been told to fit in. For anyone who has ever been made to feel like the way they think, the way they feel, or the way they move through the world is something to fix. Rather than something worth understanding. Thank you. And we go round again? No, we're done.
Good afternoon. I know that the people on Zoom need to have the end code by 5:15, so although we're not ending, I'm going to read the end code now. It is VGY943. Again, that's Victor Golf Yankee 943. I will read it again at the end of the presentation. And now I hope you will join me in welcoming Isaac Zablocki. Isaac is the co-founder and CEO of Real Abilities Film Festival. He is the director of the Carol Zabar Center for Film and the Marlene Meyerson JCC in Manhattan. And he uses film as a tool to foster social change. He studied film at Columbia University. Before joining the JCC, he worked at Miramax, where he developed film education for the New York City Department of Education, as well as producing independent films. Please help me in welcoming Isaac Zablocki.
Thank you, and I realize very well that I am all that stands between you and food, which is never a good place to be, but I promise you this is a fun one. So we get to this last panel, gets to talk really about culture. So first, just to tell you a little bit about Real Abilities. Today's an exciting day. I think we were on an exciting day last year too, when we shared about our festival. Today we announced our opening night film. The festival is the 18th annual Real Abilities Film Festival, is playing in New York, April 23rd till the 30th. It's here in Long Island too. We spread out to as many locations as possible, mostly because of geographic accessibility. We don't want to just be in one place in Manhattan, but really we come to you. We learned, of course, during the pandemic that the most accessible way to be geographically speaking is virtual. So we continue, even though I like to think that we're past those dark times, we continue to use a virtual component as well. So most of the films can be seen virtually as well. during the festival, and we launched a streaming site so people can enjoy these fabulous movies year-round, like the one you're going to see today, and I'm excited to share that one with you in a moment. I'm sure there was a lot of law talk here today. I didn't understand most of it. But really, since the Americans with Disabilities Act, the legal changes have been there protecting the disability community. But what we need to see more of, which connects to this panel really, is the cultural change. And to change our society, I'm a big believer, I don't know if all of you feel the same way, that happens through what we see around us in media. Movies being a huge influencer. Movies, TV, you name it. I mean, today, of course, we access our media in so many different ways, and if we're not seeing disability inclusion in those places, then we are not going to see them in our society. I think life mimics art a lot, and it definitely trickles down. And that's one of the reasons we started Real Abilities, was to really put disability into the spotlight, to celebrate it with high quality, great films, and to practice what we preach, and that is to make sure that it is as accessible as possible. So one of the things that we did is to go beyond ADA and not just have, people use the term fully accessible, and I always find that a strange term because we're always learning more. Every year of the festival, we are adding new components to accessibility. Just this year, we actually created a new component for our streaming site. It's called Snowflake, and it's like a plugin that sometimes has, some people don't like that term. It's kind of what it is. Added to our streaming site to give accessibility for mostly, it was designed for the neurodivergent community, the autistic community specifically, to give a unique way of being able to watch your movies. So if you don't like the color red, you can move the color red from the movie. If you like to watch your movie as an animation, it turns the movie into animation. A one-of-a-kind new way of doing accessibility. What we really, over the years, realized at first we wanted to do really universal design for accessibility. Meaning, I think it was at our second year, we said, no, not just the one movie that's about the blind community is going to have audio description for the blind. All of our movies are going to have audio description for the blind, so a blind person can feel comfortable entering any one of the films at Real Abilities. We very quickly started implementing that in all of our systems to make sure we are as accessible as possible. And then we took it to the next level, which is individual design. And that means really also seeing beyond, obviously, and I think it's been mentioned here today over and over again, every disability experience is different, and accessibility could sometimes come with a lot of friction. And what's good for one person might not be good for another person. And we really look in, and this is our new addition to our streaming site, really shows that you could have another option to watch things your way. And as much as possible, we're really implementing that. The films that we show are of all different kinds, all genres. We just look for really good storytelling. That's what matters. We never for a second want to turn it into a pity film festival. Don't come to Real Abilities to pity. I think it would be an easier way to make a film festival in some ways, but really we want to show, our new tagline is reframing disability. Yep, it's up there. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to show disability like it's never shown before. And that connects me to the movie that we're about to watch now. This movie stars a wonderful, extremely talented disabled actress named Shannon DeVito. She's actually made it. It was on a show that's on Hulu, and Difficult People, I think it was called. She had a film that used to be on Hulu called Best Summer Ever. She's fantastic. She's a huge advocate for the disability community too. But what we really love about this movie that was made is that it's not about the disability. It actually is just inclusive of disability. Disability is part of the fabric of the film. It is authentic completely. The details are clearly done with disability in mind, but at no moment are you saying, oh, we're explaining to you what this disability is and trying to give you a PSA about that. It is really just about the story, the characters, and the things that you would love about every romantic comedy you would see. So, and I think they do a fantastic job, and they do this in less than 10 minutes. This is a really short film, so don't blink. And I look forward to seeing you right after the movie. Please enjoy A Stupid Man.
Hey.
Got your coffee.
Oh, thanks.
I drank it. I was nervous.
Did the second coffee help with the nerves, or?
No, terrible idea. I'm much worse now.
So she's in there?
Uh-huh.
How do you know this?
I watched her going hours ago.
Is anybody worried she'll see you out here being a creep?
I hadn't thought about that. Should I put on a mask or something?
Tell me you know that that's more creepy.
Oh, God. You're right. I'm sorry.
Owen, what are you doing here? Or better yet, what am I doing here?
Well, I found out she's single now. It's been confirmed.
Do I want to know how you confirmed that?
Her mom and I still text.
Jesus, Owen.
No, it's fine. Don't think about that part. The point is, she's single, I'm single, she's home right now, in that house. Right, that one with the umbrellas and the, what? Can you hold these, please? I'm sorry, I just don't know what to do with my hands. I spent 10 months in that house as her boyfriend, and it was the happiest I've ever been.
No, it wasn't.
I can't knock on the door? Do you know how scary that is? And I've been waiting for this moment for a year, for her to break up with what's-his-face.
What's his face? Who she cheated on you with?
Yeah, F that guy, right?
Okay.
I've been waiting for her to be single so I can tell her that I still have feelings, and will always have feelings, but it's happened again. I'm frozen with fear. Like, can't talk to her. I can't. I won't. So, that's where you come in.
What does this have to do with me?
Because, Millie, this is what you do. This is our thing. When I was too scared to get that promotion, you told me to walk my soft little baby hands into Ronnie's office and shake his like a big boy. When I was devastated, when she broke up with me and I slept on your couch for 3 weeks, what did you say?
Losers don't get laid.
Losers don't get laid. And I got up off the couch and I got laid. But now I need to make it to her front door, so please, please be my William Wallace, my Sabin, my tiny Bobby Knight. I wouldn't have called you unless this were really important. I need your help, Mills.
All right, I'll do it. But this is really my last pump-up speech. You're seriously on your own after this.
Thank you. Yes! Let's go.
Okay, here goes. Owen, you're an idiot. A stupid man. You want what you can't have, and you're blind as to what's right in front of you. Like, all the time. You can't even take action unless I come along and call you a degenerate panty waste and tell you to man up.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you. God, you're a stupid man. But you're a good man, unfortunately. And you deserve to have whatever you think is going to make you happy. Unfortunately. And if you think that she makes you happy, and you go in there and you tell her every stupid feeling you've ever had for her. Well, when you're in that house that you forgot made you so miserable for so long, I want you to just take a moment. And if you get the slightest feeling that something's off, that you've romanticized this great life with her that doesn't exist, or she looks different than you remember, or she dresses different, or I don't know, smells weird or something, I don't know, anything, then I want you to know that you have another option. Another person. Someone who thinks you're really great, despite all your colossal stupidity. Someone who's had feelings for you for years and wants to let them all go. Right now. I just need a nod that you understand we're talking about me.
Yeah, I'm gathering that.
Here's what's so stupid of you, Owen. You don't pick me. You never have. You'll go in there and you'll tell yourself that this time it's going to work. Spoiler, it won't. And the cycle will continue. But this is where I get off. This is where I lay all my secret feelings for this stupid man and wish him stupid luck. And I think yeah, you feel good about it. Really good. Finally. So, have fun in there, champ.
Millie, we should talk about this.
Tell her I said hi, Owen.
In a house in the city, far away you hid yourself. But there you are, there you are, there you are. All the things that can happen if you just treat yourself. There you are, there you are, there you are. There you are, there you are, there you are, there you are, there you are. Oh, you are found. There you are, there you are, there you are, there you are, there you are. Oh,
Millie!
you are found. Lately, I keep looking for the only thing I can never find. Holding on to something.
What?
She, oh my God, ow.
What is happening? What are you saying?
She smelled weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really weird.
So, does this mean?
It means I'm gonna kiss you now. Yeah.
It was a fight for me. I gave you all I had. You held your hand in mine. I got a lot to say, but I'll survive. It's alright. I was waiting for this in my mind. I was.
I don't know if we need to do something for the folks at home watching. But I'll start by saying, first of all, I'm glad some of you laughed at the end. You should have been laughing all the way through. This is, I find this movie to be hysterical and just so well done. Both, shot, there was no compromises in terms of production for a short film. Acting is fantastic. The details, this isn't a film that's, again, like a PSA explaining to you what it's like to be a woman with Shannon's specific disability. No, it's there. It's how she starts her car. It's how she gets into her car. It's how she drives it. It's who she is, and it shows how normal her life and her feelings are. We need to be seeing more movies like this. We need to be seeing more representation like this. The representation of disability in film is less than 2%. Fluctuates sometimes, but is actually, you always think that we're making progress and then it goes down again. And we need to see it done as authentically and as, most importantly, responsibly, like this film does, as possible. And not just in, I'm a big believer, and this is part of what Real Abilities really is. It's not just about entertainment. It should be entertaining. I hope you were entertained, but you also learned something. This also changed who you are. And anytime you see something that might remind you of this film, you'll have that piece of what you learned from this movie there. So it's really an educational process that I hope both film, music, and other arts can bring to changing our culture and changing our society and creating a space where there is absolutely more inclusion for everyone. Thank you all.
Are there any questions?
And I'll share one more quick thing, sorry. I left some postcards outside that have a free stream for our streaming site. If you want to test out this new technology or just watch another great movie, check them out. It also has a save the date for our film festival. Tickets go on sale March 20, I think in 2 weeks from now. That's March 26th.
Can we get a microphone for the gentleman in the middle?
Yes, hi. So I know that you have a film festival. Do you also have a website with a lot of videos, with audio descriptions that would be great for my mom?
So all of our films on our streaming site, which is part of it's all within the Real Abilities. If you go to realabilities.org, you'll find everything there. And all of our films, absolutely all of them, have audio description and are shown with open captions like you saw for this film. So they could be accessible for your mom and others.
Okay, yeah, cool. So it's not just like during the April 23rd to 30th time period, it's like all the time.
That is correct. We take our films, the films that you'll find online are films that are 2 years old, I'd say, because they go through the Real Ability cycle after the festivals in New York. It travels to a dozen other cities across the U.S. and beyond. And then when those films are done with their travels, we bring them onto our streaming site to make sure that more people can see them.
Awesome. Thank you. By the way, my mom's legally blind, which is why I was asking about audio descriptions.
Everything should have audio. Every film should have audio description.
Behind you?
Hi, this is more of just a comment. I just wanted to thank both of you, and particularly Joel. I thought your presentation was amazing, and I really enjoyed hearing your lived experience. I'm going to take a lot of the information you shared with me and kind of some of your experiences to help my students at Mercer University. And I just really wanted to say a sincere thank you because I really connected with a lot of the information and I could tell how from the heart it was. And I just want to say thank you so much because this really helped me as a professional. Thank you.
Also a comment, Joel, you absolutely rocked, and pun intended. I have been a regular at the Real Abilities for 7 years, and no, I'm not being paid for this. It's a must for everybody to go see. I have been going for 7 years with my wife, with people with disabilities, and they never, ever disappoint. So I can almost guarantee, even though I don't like guaranteeing, that you will walk away as someone who will go to Real Abilities every single year.
Thank you.
So this is for both of you, actually, and one thing is very clear from both of your presentations was that this is a perspective on disability that's driven, influenced, and suffused by living with or knowing somebody with a disability. So what happens when you come across art or people who don't have that? What is that conversation like, and how has that bridging or negotiation been for both of you?
I'm happy to jump in. If I'm understanding the question correctly, there's actually a few different elements. First of all, everyone is connected to somebody with a disability, and if they claim that they're not, they're lying. Figure it out. There's somebody very close to them. Also, if not now, then in the future, they will know somebody or themselves be a member of the disability community. So it's something that is absolutely everywhere. So that's why everyone has a connection. That said, I still, and it's 2026, I still meet people who are afraid of disability. And it continues to, it shocked me when we started Real Abilities 18 years ago, and it continues to, I mean, now even more shocking to me that this still exists, that first of all, that they're willing to admit it, and that they're willing to, and I get, I mean, the most basic concept, I think that sometimes exists in our society is that people fear differences, and disability is difference. And I've also find that strange. We should not fear difference. Difference is something that will only take us to better places, will allow us to learn, will allow us to have some contrast to everything we're doing. So what I always do is I show them a film, show them a movie like this one. There's nothing scary about this movie. There's nothing foreign about this movie. You relate it, most people who like movies will relate to a movie like this one, and if it's not this one, we have hundreds of others in our archive, and we're constantly using those to open that door for the conversation about disability, a conversation that I'm so glad happens here so openly, but in many spaces, like especially in the workplace, I was just talking to the screen, I don't want to take the wrong organization. Maybe I won't mention the name of the organization, but a major film organization, one of the organizations that brings a lot of people to set. And they told us that people do not want to identify, even though many of their members have disabilities, they don't want to identify as having a disability because they're afraid that they won't get hired on set. Set is production work. It takes, it's an intense atmosphere, and they fear that somehow they'll be prejudiced towards them. And that's something that obviously is going to change and needs to change. The numbers are showing how much I myself am neurodivergent and how many people in the workforce are neurodivergent and are coming in and will be neurodivergent. And any workplace that's not ready to create a welcoming environment for that kind of difference is going to fall behind. So I hope we're at that changing point, that turning point now, where in any space, people with disabilities can identify, and it will not be something foreign to anyone.
Thank you very much. Before we thank these two gentlemen, I need to read the codes for you one more time. The starting code was BHU 876. That's Bravo Hotel Uniform 876. And the ending code was VGY 943. Again, that's Victor Golf Yankee 943. And I want to thank you, everyone here, join me in thanking both Joel and Isaac in their presentations.
Thank you so much. Great to have both of you with us again. Please grab yourself some dinner, and please come right back. You heard Joel speak. Now we're going to hear Joel play with his band.